Hey family, how you guys doing? Welcome to Phie.Love Intuitive Conversations. I hope you guys are good. Yeah. If you like my content, please do like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, if there's any negativity, if there's any hate, please do keep that on your side of the street, okay? Won't be acknowledged. So, family, in this video, I'm being guided by Spirit to get into the topic around us. Well, for me to share a perspective on our relationship with doubt, and to pay a little bit more mind to ourselves, or if you even, pay attention to how you, what your relationship with doubt is, right? Do you recognize when you're in doubt? Or is it something that, again, you just kind of allow distraction, or your impulses, or instant gratification, or pressure from the outside, or tradition, or external ways of being be the thing that guides you through your doubt, or the thing that decides to, or the deciding factor for you when you find yourself in a space of doubt? Are you connected enough with yourself? Do you go within enough? Are you able to, look at doubt and recognize that, doubt is just one of the phases of fear within us, right? What do you mean, Phie? So, in the mainstream, when they talk about doubt, it's also, once again, it's very third dimensional. It's very linear, right? It's taught to people in a way that reinforces the linear way of thinking, okay? And in the same breath, they don't too extensively go into the teachings around doubt and our fears on, getting acquainted with ourselves and trying to understand the form of fear that could be fueling our doubt, that could be, causing insecurity, that could be causing stagnation, that could be causing procrastination, or whatever other, masks masks that fear within us can tend to wear, right? But in the same breath, we don't we get ourselves quickly busied with something else instead of taking the time to pause and recognize, okay, well, I'm in a space of doubt right now. What is actually causing my doubt? Are you able to honestly look at yourself, right, and call out what you're afraid of? What kind of fear is fueling your doubt? What form is my fear taking? What is the root cause of my fear? What do they mean when they say become friends with your fear? Understand your fear. Because if you can put your fear into the light, it's not so scary anymore. It becomes something that's been accepted. It's become something that you're familiar with. It's become something that is a part of your knowing, and not something that is in the space or in the areas of the unknown anymore. It's not something you reject. Your fear isn't something you are afraid of, that on the surface could be manifesting as doubt, on the surface could be manifesting as insecurity, on the surface could be manifesting as stagnation or procrastination. But then, because once again, we're groomed to be focused on the third dimensional aspect of things, on the physical aspect of things, on the academic aspect of things, on what so-called experts and whoever else it is that is somehow within the system labeled and programmed into us as the qualified people to, talk to us about these things, not really, taking into consideration the other aspects, the other dimensions. Because once again, our it's fear and doubt. It's a multidimensional thing. We're not taught about those things. In the same breath, when we start considering the other aspects to it, right, that are actually real and part of our reality, but not something we've been taught or programmed or shown how to acknowledge or connect with, because it would require us, being fearless enough to connect with ourselves, being fearless and confident enough to consider and recognize the certain aspects of life and spirituality and, things that play a part in our fear, in our relationship with fear, and how we exist with fear within ourselves, how it manifests within our reality, and how it influences our thought, our action, our engagements with other people. It would require us, slowing down and taking the time to have that intimate relationship with ourselves, slowing down and being patient with ourselves, to, take the time to go and investigate. What am I afraid of? I'm feeling doubtful. Okay, the next step. What's causing my doubt? What am I afraid of? And when you figure out what you're afraid of, then that's cool. You acknowledge it. You don't judge yourself over it. I'm afraid of being judged. I'm afraid of this being too much. I'm afraid I can't do it. I'm afraid I'm not good enough. I'm afraid of disappointing A, B, and C on the outside. I'm afraid of the other aspects of myself that me, doing what I'm doubtful of, putting me into a position of having to also, cross other different boundaries that I've set up unconsciously within myself. The gecko. So, what is your relationship with your doubt? And how confident and courageous are you to take the time to, get to know where your doubt is coming from? What could your doubt be? Is it energetically? Because your doubt and your fear actually can be energetically. The source of it can be an energetic reason. The source of it can be a mental reason. The source of it can be externally influenced. Or it could also just be, your own soul's way of letting you know that you might not be ready to enter into a space that you might be trying to put yourself into. It might not be the right time. But the only way you're going to understand how to deal with all these things, how to understand all these things, and how to make proper decisions that are tailored just for you, okay, and move in a way that is perfect and right just for you, without having to appease and, integrate the influence of what the outside world has put forward as standard and as fact, and as what they've said scientifically proven. Because those kinds of things don't really include the spiritual aspect. They don't include the energetic influences. They include all the things that our so-called experts have gathered through different modes of observation and coming to conclusions, right? Conclusions that are then taught forward onto the population. Whoever is aligning themselves to whatever aspect of it, right? me give an example. If it's something that might be energetically, if it's a fear within you, that might be energy, that might be there because of something energetic. Say you've taken the time to sit with yourself and you've crossed out, I don't really believe that I have anything mentally that has to, put me in fear and manifest in my life. It's doubt. I don't recognize any kind of external influences, people, peers, or whatever in my physical realm that I engage with on the surface level as being something or someone that is causing me to be in doubt or be in fear. I don't feel like it's not the right time for me to do something. However, there's an aspect that none of us have been taught about growing up, and only something that you start learning to consider, right, once you become aware of how the energetic aspect and the energetic world of ours affects us, and how we can actually find ourselves in limitation, find ourselves in fear, because we're energetically connected to something or someone on the outside who has a fear or a perspective or an energy that they project onto us that you might not immediately be able to recognize within your physical world and experience of them. I hope we're still together, and I hope what I'm saying is sinking in and making sense. I'll give an example. You may be a male, right? And you have a father. The general programming and the belief that we would naturally walk around with on our shoulders, right, and on our head, and not be cushion ourselves within our minds, is that our father and our parents always want the best for us, right? They want us to surpass them. They want us to do better than them, right? They hope that we do better than them. That's the belief we walk around with. That's what society will project. That's what society will believe, and anything contradicting that has been programmed into society as to be a shock, as to be the thing that you don't believe, but that's your father, but that's your mother. Why? They don't do that. They wouldn't do that. This is just an example. So you might on the surface believe and experience your parent as somebody who, only wants the best for you, right? Who feels great and feels positive towards everything and anything that you do. And they want you to be great. And yes, on the surface, on the level of their programming, it can be that. But it's also a very common thing, because why? They are also human. They also deal with lack issues. They also deal with things like inadequacy. You don't have to not be a family member for an individual to be triggered by seeing you maybe surpass them, seeing you do what they do better, seeing you look prosperous, seeing you be happy in your life, seeing you confidently do certain things in your life that they were programmed in the past to believe, was not something they could, be free and comfortable and focus their energy towards comfortably without judgment on the outside. Yes, our baby boomers, they have that issue. Baby boomers have a programming within themselves that has been, drilled in and has created a lot of limitation in mindset and in translation of the world. That creates a bit of discomfort when they see the later generations sort of expressing themselves in ways that, they were maybe groomed back in their time to sort of reel in or perceive and translate as immature or as too free-spirited or as whatever it might be. again, one of those areas of life where, they're, because the system requires people to behave a certain way, they're programmed into a space of rejection of self, of judgment of self, and of judgment of others, so that they don't, feel comfortable and nurture certain aspects of themselves. Whereas you see, as time has gone on, the later generations have learned to kind of, slowly deprogram themselves and become more comfortable in the aspects of themselves and their operation of life that the generations before them were not particularly very free and very open and accepting of, right? You have the others who also believe, well, it was the programming that they were also raised in. Children are meant to be seen and not heard. Can you imagine all the kinds of stuff and limitation and inadequacy that kind of breeds in the background within a child that they don't even recognize they might be living out of and projecting onto others in their adulthood? Something to think about. Let me get back to my example of the father, right? So you may be walking around now having doubt to move forward in a project, doubt to move a level up in something you might be great at, not even realizing that your energetic cording with your father, who may be in the background, consciously or unconsciously, having a projection towards you, who naturally submits to his energy, naturally obeys to his energy, whether he speaks or whether he doesn't speak. His unconscious requirement for you to be limited and you to still be in a position that keeps him comfortable in his perspective of seeing himself as the adult in your life, and you the one who was younger. The projection of that expectation, that need, right, within the energetic communication between the two of you, within the energetic dynamic where you give in to his expectation, where you want to please him. You don't realize that energetically, that cord, you're still having portions of yourself living in an old timeline that you used to be in as a child or as a teenager or in your 20s with your father, might be affecting you now in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, because there's a dynamic that you haven't grown out of. There's a dynamic you haven't changed, an energy that hasn't transformed between you and your father. It might not show itself in the physical, but energetically, it may be causing you limitation. It may be giving you doubt to accept a promotion. It may be, filling you with fear or worry of succeeding or of becoming too big or whatever it might be. You may be, everything else may be okay, but there's an aspect of you that you can't see, an aspect of you that you haven't been taught to question, you haven't been taught to recognize or acknowledge. You haven't been taught to be accepting of it if it is something that might be true. Your fears need you to call out the truth, accept it and live in that truth. And then further on, make your decisions having everything within your perspective and in your reality out on the table, without the influence of the outside, right? If you can accept that truth, accept and understand and perceive that energy and that dynamic between you and your father, you then are aware, you can make a change, you can either recognize it and identify with it, that it may be something that is existing within you, or it might not even come up, right? But don't, if it does come up and if it is something that, if it is if it comes up for something for you to consider, and this can be in any aspect of your life, right? Don't reject it. Don't throw it to the side, because accepting that might burst a bubble over here with another cushion you have up in your mind of programming that keeps the equilibrium within your relationship and your dynamic with your father on the outside. Because at that point, you know better and you're not doing better for yourself. This thing is complicated, okay? It's not complicated. I think once you start learning to not exist solely in the programmed linear mind and linear way of thinking, and recognize that our energy and our, the way we're set up as humans, and our conscious and our consciousness and all of it, it's a multi-dimensional thing. At the same time, you can be existing in different vibrations and different frequencies in different areas of your life at the same time, which is why over time, as we heal, we take the time to, heal things and bring ourselves to, as much as possible to a higher, to the highest and singular frequency that we can. Although I don't, it's a lifelong exercise, but something that we always have to take the time out to do and invest enough into ourselves, and love ourselves enough to evolve out of the lower aspects of ourselves, right? But that can only happen when we start recognizing our the different aspects to life and ourselves and the things that we go through that the system has kept away from us, that they haven't taught us about. Recognize that the world on the outside that we exist in is only the surface of everything else that we actually are, in every moment existing in. Energetically, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, it's all intertwined and it's all influencing one another at the same time. And the physical is the end result. The physical is the end product to everything else that you have going on that they tell you either doesn't exist or that they don't ever put any emphasis on for you to actually pay attention to, get to know, and learn how to, balance out, adjust, and comfortably exist in. Recognize where you're disconnected from yourself, family, okay? And don't be afraid of things. Don't be afraid of your fears. Don't be afraid of calling out your own truth, the truth about your fear. Don't be afraid of giving your fears a new perspective. Okay. I hope I haven't rambled too much. I hope I've made sense and it's brought a little bit of relief or encouragement or a different perspective, hopefully, right? Anyway, I'm going to pull a card from Flower Therapy deck. Excuse me, by Taurine Virtue. And Taurine Virtue, okay? And see what Spirit has to support our conversation, or give someone who's watching the video a nudge in a specific direction. Yeah, let's see. One card. Uplift your thoughts, okay? Also, when it comes to our doubt and our insecurities and stagnation and procrastination, before you deal with it, just do a check with yourself and recognize where you're at with your thoughts. Are you in a negative place? Are you in a positive place to be able to look within yourself and recognize your fears positively? And, to be gentle with yourself. And, when you call your truth out for your fears, this is why I'm afraid. this is what's giving me fear. This makes me scared. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to accept that you're scared. But everybody has their inner child. What would you tell a little child when they're scared? Be good to yourself and speak to your inner child that might be afraid like it's a child. Give your inner child the truth. And don't be scared to also believe the truth. Okay? Focus your attention. Well, the flower is the orange lily, okay? And it says focus your attention on the many blessings that surround you. Again, it's talking about the lack, right? Your fear could also be a lack mentality thing. Afraid of not having enough. Afraid of not being enough. Afraid of the next person not thinking that you're enough. Afraid of thinking you won't, through your action gain the approval of something or someone on the outside that you've been programmed to value their opinion. Get to know your fear. Don't be ashamed of yourself. Don't be afraid to say, I'm scared because I actually do want the approval of A, B, and C on the outside of me. I'm scared that I won't get it. That means you need to then deal with yourself. If you can recognize you're scared of not getting someone's approval, you need to then investigate. Why do I value and need their approval so badly? What is it within me? What has happened in our dynamic? What is our energetic dynamic? Do I have a reason to be feeling that way? Is this person projecting onto me that they have an expectation that I should be looking for their approval? And I don't realize it, I just absorb it and unconsciously, because I haven't been taught to connect with myself. I've been groomed into obeying energies like this. I've been groomed into allowing energies like that to make me feel like I have something to prove. Deal with yourself, okay? By doing so, you'll let go of depression, poor self-esteem, and excess weight. Again, excess weight could be all kinds of things, right? Emotional, physical, mental. Let's see what the book has to say about uplift your thoughts. There we go. Always got the geckos around me. So, it says, your thoughts have the power to create your reality. Therefore, you want to choose only positive and high vibration thoughts. Sometimes, this is easier said than done. You can ask for help from the orange lilies to shape a brighter future. One way to do so is by gathering some of these blossoms and sitting with them quietly. Focus your intentions on the joy you wish to attract. Then set the lilies in a vase of water in your home or workspace. As the lilies bloom, your visualization will manifest. Let go of thoughts surrounding your perceived imperfections. Yes, that's also another source of our fear, right? Of fears and that create doubt and insecurity, our perceived imperfections. That again, what have we done? We're measuring ourselves according to some unnecessary, unrealistic standard for ourselves on the outside, right? Instead, choose to view these as the special qualities that make you an individual. There are no mistakes in the eyes of God. You're created this way for a reason, and it's best that you choose to accept who you are, live your life as your true self. Then you'll shine joy upon others, acting as a source of angelic inspiration. That was beautiful. Additional meanings to this card. You're moving through depression now. Build your self-confidence. Let go of excess baggage. Get help with your weight loss journey. Focus on peaceful, calming thoughts. Yes. Anyway, family, I hope that has resonated. I won't be doing another card today. And yeah, if you've come this far, like, subscribe, share. Maybe somebody else could benefit from the video. Who knows? But yeah, I'll see you in the next video, okay? Bye.